Okay, the next clearances I will talk about are the national and state sex offender clearances. These 2 clearances I'm able to legally run myself, which is great. The other 2 clearances, which I previously talked about, the child abuse and the FBI, those are the clearances that your home state provider will need to run. I legally cannot. So let's go into national and state sex offender. Now, if your provider has already run these, that's completely okay too. These 2 clearances, the national and the state sex offender, will expire in a year as well. So when it comes time, I will run these clearances at the very beginning of the month that your clearance expires. It's easier for you, for your provider, It's easier for your provider to run these clearances, then that's completely okay too, as long as it gets done by one of us. The reason I do it is so that it's one less thing that you and your provider have to take care of. The national sex offender looks the same in every single state, which is great. This clearance will say national sex offender at the very top. It's super easy to read. And then the state sex offender will look different in every single state, but the same thing that stays the same is that it will say state sex offender at the very top of every page, so it's easy to read as well. So I will show you examples of multiple states and the national sex offender. So national sex offender will look like this. So this one will say like 0 records were found. That's what I'm looking for. Now, if you have a name like John Smith, you'll probably have a lot of pictures shown here because there's a lot of John Smiths. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind if you end up getting a copy of your sex offender clearances. That's completely normal. If that happens, we look through that and know if you're on the list or not, so that's completely okay. It's just if you have a more unique name, you're probably less likely to have any photos showed up, so wouldn't really worry too much about that. But it'll say search performed on this date. It'll have like your first and last name right here, and then no results were found. So that is what national will look like. Here is what North Carolina looks like. It'll say right here, North Carolina Offender Registry, Sex Offender Registry, no record found, your information here, and then I'll put the date that I ran the clearance. That is North Carolina. Here is what your Tennessee will look like. Tennessee sex offender, you'll see it'll say at the very top here, it'll say it here, and here's your information. So that's the first page. So this one's actually 2 pages. The way that it prints out, it just can't print out everything on one sheet of paper, but I make sure, here's the second page. But you see this one doesn't have your name and information on it. So if I turn this into the attorney, it doesn't have any of your information, just says someone in Tennessee doesn't have a record. So that's why I match these up together, so I know that it'll say page 1 of 2, page 2. So that is important. And then that is Tennessee. So very self-explanatory on that one. Okay, here is Texas. This is what Texas looks like, Public Sex Offender Registry. So it'll normally say your name or your state's name and then sex offender. It'll have your information right here and then the date that I ran that clearance. And this is 1 page. All right, here is Pennsylvania state sex offender. This one is actually 2 pages. It can fit on 1 page. So here's that. So you kind of cut it off right here. So I make sure your names are right here. And then here's the 2nd page. So that is what I'm looking for. I put no results found, Pennsylvania State Police. And 10/23/19 was the day that I ran that clearance. Okay. So this one will just say more so name search. It'll have like the website up here that I ran it. And then this. Okay, here's an example of Florida sex offender. This one, so I'll say sexual offenders. Here's the Florida FDLE, no results found in the list right here. And it'll say here, no matches were found in the criteria. And then the last one is the Illinois state sex offender. So it will say it at the very top. Right here. And then it will have all your information right here. That is whited out. And no results were found. So here's the date. And that is 1 page as well. So there is your state sex offenders.